heard it go off, and I don't know why it went off. Okay, so I'm sorry, I have to start it. Okay. Okay, good morning. We are so thankful. This is Wanda Kellog, and Annika and myself are talking with her about the history on South Padre Island. She had a large part, and Wanda, thank you for talking with us, and tell us about your South Padre Island stories.
I will start by saying my father negotiated to lease the old hotel in 1942. I was 12 years old. And after that, after the next 4 years, my dad ran it. He stayed year round. Of course, and my mother and all of us children would come as soon as school was out in La Feria and stay till school started again. That was 4 straight summers that happened. And we only had to evacuate once in that time when the Coast Guard came and got us and made us leave the island because the water was up under the hotel.
It was just a storm?
It was a very serious storm, and but we knew the criteria that we had to live by. We couldn't question the Coast Guard at all. When they said evacuate, that's what had to happen.
Yeah.
But there was an Army radar base about a half a mile from the hotel, because the war was on and no ordinary citizen could go back there. But of course they got acquainted with my parents being there at the hotel all the time. And we had a young man drive a pickup truck to meet the Collie's boat every time someone came over, and it was many trips in a day's time because there were people coming and going like that. And
so the boat service was
the
Collie's
boat line. It was Collie's boat line, and they had been there for many years. And I don't know when they, not operated,
stopped.
but everything.
That was how you got to the island from the mainland, from Port Isabel.
And then the guy that drove my dad's truck would pick us all up, and we'd go to the hotel, and that was transportation back then. That was it.
The pickup truck, you said, kind of had seats in the
back. My dad built benches on each side of the pickup truck,
right.
So you could get up there and sit, and your luggage would be in the middle of the truck. And he made a lot of trips and everything. That was his job. But
and tell us about, so you and your siblings and you and your older sister worked at the hotel.
Yes, just we didn't get paid.
Oh, really?
No money was involved, just food. But no, she was wonderful. My sister even helped in the kitchen a little bit and everything. I didn't, but I was always there ready. And we rented baskets for the soldiers who came every weekend. There were hundreds who came every weekend to go swimming and
kind of have a little break.
Have a break, an R&R from the Harlingen Air Force Base and everything.
Yeah.
So what was your favorite job that you did?
Let me see. I don't know. I'd have to say just messing around. But I mean, what else does a 13-year-old do and everything except what you're told to do and everything. But it was all wonderful.
Yeah.
I look back now and I think what a beautiful 4 summers we had. You don't realize it as a child, but later on you realize just how lucky we were to be there. And my dad would go fishing. He was an avid fisherman. I mean, he built scooters. My dad made his own cast nets. He could throw a cast net 6 foot out of this world.
Oh, wow.
So he's always been around the water.
And tell us your dad's name.
My dad's name was Charles Brown Vulture, but if we got mad at him, we called him Charlie Brown. But behind his back.
Of course.
and Mother was there, of course, and there was a big family.
Mabel
Vulture.
Okay. Good.
And then there was Billie Jean, my sister older than I, and myself, and 5 more underneath.
Oh, wow.
Younger ones.
Wow.
The family of 12.
Okay, tell us about your birthday. You had one time you had a memory.
When I was 16, 2 Coast Guardsmen came and picked me up and took me to the top of the tower, and that's all that was there on the whole island was the radar station, the hotel, and the Coast Guard station. They took me up there for my 16th birthday and served me a piece of cherry pie and a glass of milk. I'll
I
never
love
forget
that.
it. That was such a good story. I mean,
It
it's
is.
just a good.
So did you celebrate your birthday there every summer that you had it?
Well,
or just
no,
that
it's
year?
because I turned 16.
Okay.
Oh, that
I-
was the
yeah,
special.
and my dad probably led him on to that and everything, because who gives a birthday party to a 13 and a 14-year-old? You know, that, they don't amount to much. But we did have a lot of visitors from up north. And at one time, my dad said they had, in the fall, when we weren't there, 25 Catholic priests come from up north for R&R.
Mhm.
And they really had a great time there at the hotel, he said.
So lots of visitors.
Lots of visitors
coming down to
coming
the
down.
to the hotel.
We were always busy all summer.
And this was between what years?
43,
40?
44, 45, and 46.
Okay.
And that was the perfect 4 years that we went down there.
So tell us about the food. Did you catch the fish and
Well,
for the meals,
I
or
think my dad did,
Uh-huh.
because he was in charge of that. All I did was the eating part. But we served family style, but fish seemed to be, well, my dad could catch anything. He was an avid fisherman. He knew what to do. But if we ran out, Willie, the chef, would tell him to go down a little ways and catch some more fish, because they were out, and he would.
Yeah.
But the oysters and the shrimp, I don't know, they were just plentiful. They were
Mhm.
not expensive, I don't
Mhm.
guess, and everything. And we served actual platters
Okay.
of food, family style, each evening meal. And I kind of don't remember what we served for lunch, you know. It could have been sandwiches or whatever. I don't remember, I'm sorry.
But you remember the big
Oh,
family
the-
style
every
meals.
every evening, Billy, Jean, and I had to serve the people and everything, so it was really good.
So was Willie the only
Billy.
cook? Billy.
No,
Was,
no, Willie, he was up.
was he the only cook?
He was
Or
the only cook.
Okay.
He's a colored man,
Mhm.
and he lived here in San Benito.
Okay.
So if my dad would go home for a day or two just to be at home,
Mhm.
he would pick him up on the way back, you know, give him a chance to
Mhm.
be with his family.
And he was there every summer.
It was there all 4
Okay.
summers. But, and people came over from Port Isabel, couples, just to eat, like on a Friday night evening
Mhm.
fun time and everything, and Saturday also, but mostly Friday nights, they would come over.
So here's a question: when you would come over on Colley's boat and pick up in the pickup truck, were there any roads? Was it all sand?
It was just sand. You
just
just
sand?
went along the beach,
Okay.
the hard part of the beach and everything.
Uh-huh.
But the truck was more like a Jeep truck with big, strong
Mhm.
big
Tires to
tires
get
to
through
get
the
through the
sand.
sand and everything.
Okay.
But everybody seemed happy to get there and get off the truck and walk up the steps and make themselves at home at the hotel, and it was a lot of fun.
And did you stay in, you stayed at the hotel, but did you ever explore around the island, or were you just in the hotel?
Well, there wasn't anything to explore. You
It was
couldn't.
just
It was
beach.
just beach. That's
Okay.
all. I mean, other than the radar station, and you couldn't go near the Coast Guard station, you
Yeah.
know.
Mhm.
So it was that. I would go out at night at 10 o'clock at night, foolish as I was, and swim
Oh,
by
no.
myself. I look back there and I think the good Lord must have been looking after you, Wanda Kellog, because I didn't have any. I was never scared,
Mhm.
never worried about anything, and now it's not quite the same with the sharks out there.
You might
It
think of a
think of
a scary story.
scary.
Yeah. Yeah.
At 10 o'clock at night, boy, I thought I was invincible, I guess. So, but
Let's see what other we can cut out
Okay.
this part, but the air base. You talked about the soldiers. You talked about is there any other story that we talked about that I don't remember that we were?
the young girl
The
with polio,
polio?
that would be the only other
Yeah,
one.
let's
we
do that
did.
one real quick.
Okay.